Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a great day. If you have been paying attention to the crypto market the last 24 hours, to simplify in 2 sentences, first of all, the entire market is consolidating while a lot of major news have come out which could act as a catalyst once there is a little bit of movement that gets poured into Bitcoin market. Why is this a big deal? Just to give you an idea, if the whales start to just move the market a little bit, the FOMO currently that's going to kick in is quite impressive due to some crazy news. The first one being Thailand is set to allow tourists to use cryptocurrency as a form of payment once they enter the country. That's insane because that's a whole country other than UAE that's actually taking the stance to try to get cryptocurrency into their country. On the other end, the crypto Caesar slams anti-crypto senator. She for some reason has this pathology hatred for crypto community. She wants to drive this community offshore. She doesn't want it happening in the US. Now keep in mind, this person is a big deal. David can make a huge difference to the crypto market, and keep in mind he has a lot of influence on the US government. At the same time, El Salvador gets IMF loan payment approved, and every single day they're still buying Bitcoin. And Dogecoin death cross looms. Will Bulls save Dogecoin from a major crash, while the GameStop buys another massive Bitcoin to their treasury? Before we get into the full details of all this, if you guys are here for the first time, you want to stay up to date with everything to do with the crypto market, scroll down, tap the red subscribe button, and if you want to stay up to date with Dogecoin, especially with the latest and the greatest news, turn on your notification. Drop a like on it. Let's go for a like goal of 57. We've been smashing all of them, so you guys are legends. It's just going to help the YouTube algorithm push the video out to more people, so more people are paying attention to what's happening in the crypto market. They decide to buy into it, and we make a lot of profit. Now, first thing first, I want to show you guys the altcoin season, because you come to realize that ever since the 17th, which is about 2 weeks away. Now, ever since then, you can see the market has come to a standstill in a way that as Bitcoin is moving, the altcoins are pretty much reacting the same way. There's not been a crazy difference between the two, clearly suggesting that the ETFs have come to a stop. What I mean by that is if you just go back to the Bitcoin chart and look at the way about 2 weeks ago, that's when the market was slowly starting to climb back into a little bit of an uptrend, and obviously Bitcoin was able to break its all-time high. Ever since then, you can see that the market has come to a little bit of a standstill, and that's where the ETFs are going to be playing a crucial role to ensure that the next leg of the bull market plays smoothly. And this is a very interesting chart, which is the US leads Bitcoin mining with over 36% of the global hash rate. The US is leading the Bitcoin mining game security of 36%, and you can see after that it's actually Russia and then China, which are the largest ones around the world. But US is definitely much greater as compared to all the other countries, because 33%, meaning more than 1/3 of mining of Bitcoin, is currently happening in the US. Now, why is this a big deal? Because keep in mind, after Trump got into power, a lot of the US is now starting to favor crypto, especially talking about the government to be more precise. And then there's already a lot of individuals and a lot of influential people who are already mining Bitcoin with a lot of mining sites. So this is obviously all going to come together to try to push up the crypto market even harder. Now, talking about the Bitcoin price action, now you can see it's actually very clear ever since we received a little bit of a sell-off, which was just about 24 hours ago. The reason for this is obviously we made a little bit of recovery, but people are in still a little bit of fear as 9th of July, or 9th of June to be more right, it's not too far. Keep in mind, 9th of June, the EU, there's going to be a little bit of news coming out, which is going to give us a little bit of perspective in terms of what kind of tariffs are going to play into EU and US's relationship. And that's why the market is still in a little bit of a standstill position. And keep in mind, the next 7 days, I would expect the market to not do anything super explosive. Talking about the open interest for Bitcoin, it's still holding very strong. And along to the short ratio on the other end is still slightly in favor of short, but overall pretty much in the same position. Another country, not just Thailand, accepting crypto payments in Portugal, a strategic advantage, forward-looking business. Now keep in mind, Portugal is in a very interesting state. Why? Because Portugal is clearly part of the Europe, but it's obviously on the coast. Now keep in mind, Europe has been strongly trying to be be more precise when they're trying to figure out what to do with cryptocurrency, and they're trying to regulate it as much as possible, especially England or UK to be more precise. And as they're trying to regulate as much as possible, especially stable coins, we see other countries like Portugal, which are trying to accept it. So this is slowly starting to adopt into more of the European Union. And revalue the Bitcoin strategic reserve to market price. Sell gold, buy Bitcoin. Announce X price style competition to US private space industry to mine near Earth asteroid for commodities. This puts long-term bearish pressure on gold strategic reserve to US competitors and will drive a rush to Bitcoin, which is stacked early by the US. This is true. I mean, if you listen to it properly, he's pretty much trying to say that gold over time is going to be much harder to pretty much get. And then it's going to try to get people to be more interested in other currencies. And keep in mind, currencies, or any country's currency, not just the US dollar, would be a little bit harder to believe seeing the current circumstances of the entire world. And that's why the US dollar is devaluing a little bit, but gold reserves are not showing any signs of weakening, meaning a lot of people are expecting, or are trying to put their money into gold. On the other end, Bitcoin, it's quite new, so it's going to take a little bit of time for people to have a little bit more trust. But once there is trust, a lot of people are going to ditch their gold to buy more crypto. And the SEC to host an asset management conference featuring digital asset with BlackRock, Fidelity, and Franklin Templeton in attendance. Now, these are three very big names. BlackRock, obviously, with ETFs, and they do have a lot of money that they do control around the entire world. And Trump's crypto says US government may buy more Bitcoin if can be done in a budget neutral way. Now, keep in mind the Bitcoin reserve, after being set up, is obviously going to give a lot more option for people, or especially the government, who is trying to get as much money into their holdings as much as possible. Now, Bitcoin payment have cut processing costs by 50% for stake compared to credit card transactions. Now, keep in mind, Shake and Stake they just recently started using Bitcoin as a form of payment in all of their branches, and now they're saving a little bit of money on fees, to be more precise. And whales are accumulating these stable coins. I mean, actually not stable coins, coins. And two of them, which are the largest, are XRP and Dogecoin. And Bitcoin is back at the key trend line, another bounce to break. Now, keep in mind, the only way Bitcoin will be able to break is it will need to break above 110,000. And that will only be done through confidence of Trump's announcement. Keep in mind, if that confidence brings back people's interest into Bitcoin, new all-time high will be set, but maybe it will be much higher than what we know, maybe 120, maybe 130. But other than that, be a little confident. We got a long way to go. The sentiments are okay. This is not financial advice. Take your time, and I'll see you soon.